Hey, it's Blastzone Mike, and welcome to my new show, Blastzone Mike's Sleazed, Glammed, and Blue. And today I have a guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? And Blastzone Mike. It's great to be back here, and especially on the new show. My name is Sam Spade. I'm the lead singer of the Midnight Devils, bass player for the Midnight Devils. Party liaison is what I do.
So, how long has the band been around?
Weirdly enough, the band has been around since 2017, 2016, somewhere in there. Is kind of when we started the ideas of this band. The first album came out in 2018. So, like in 3 years, if you can even believe that, in 3 years, we're going to be celebrating 10 years as the Midnight Devils. It seems weird to even say that.
Wow, man. Do you remember the first time you all played out?
I do. I remember the very first show we did. I remember because the band started kind of just with Sniper and I as an acoustic duo. And so we were
Mhm.
playing in like an 80s hair metal tribute band out of Omaha, and it was doing good, but it wasn't playing, like we weren't playing enough shows. And so we decided, you know what, let's put together a side project and we can just play as many shows as we want to play. Two-man acoustic group. It was good, but it was hard and it was not that cool. Like it was difficult because we had no volume and no stage presence because we were just two guys with an acoustic guitar standing up there. But we played all these small venues all over Nebraska and Iowa. And we finally got a drummer, and I believe in 2017 is when the very first show happened with the drummer. Like basically, it's like Bob Dylan. Like we went electric, and that's how it all started, kind of downhill or uphill, whichever way you want to look at it.
So, take me back to as you were growing up.
Hmm.
Who were some of your influences and the people that you looked up to?
Yeah, and mine was super easy. I grew up in Nebraska, so kind of a very strange place musically because it's very country conservative. You don't get a lot of anything that's weird in alternative. So, but for me, I was lucky enough that I grew up on Kiss. Like Kiss was my favorite band when I was growing up. Kiss and AC/DC, and then it was Elvis, and then it was the Ramones and the New York Dolls and all these kind of bands. But it was Kiss initially when I was in eighth grade that kind of like broke the dam down and let the water rush out, and that I never kind of looked back since that moment.
So, for your age, would that have been the 80s Kiss or the 70s Kiss?
It For my age, it was the Reunion Kiss.
Reunion Kiss. Okay.
So it was like Reunion Kiss, and the first Kiss album I got was Psycho Circus. So that kind of tells you the time period of when it all was going down. Psycho Circus was just coming out, and everybody was super jacked about it. The 3D, like live in concert 3D, and all this stuff. I thought, that stuff was so cool and so revolutionary at that moment.
Did you go back and listen to like non makeup Kiss
I
and
did. I
70s
ended up
Kiss?
I didn't know what it was at the beginning. I was like super confused. So I remember getting, like, it was like Psycho Circus, and at that point the internet was still kind of in its infancy, and you were like, I was kind of buying Kiss albums based upon the album covers. And so the next one
Mhm.
I got, which I thought the most brutal album cover, was Creatures of the Night. So it's like I kind of started working back, but not in the right order. So Creatures of the Night was like the next one because I thought the album cover was just so good. And then you kind of worked, and I was kind of just going everywhere and picking up songs here and there from Kiss, and not really starting at the beginning, but just working my way through what I thought was cool.
My favorite Kiss album, and some Kiss people will chastise me,
Yeah.
is Revenge.
No, I think that's a great. Somebody asked me the other day when we were on tour. They're like, "What's your favorite version of Paul Stanley?" And I said, or is it when they said, "What's your favorite version of '80s Paul Stanley?" And I said, it's not really '80s Paul Stanley, but I think Revenge era Alive 3 Paul Stanley and Kiss at that time. That was the best band that they had ever.
It's because between in the 80s, as we all know, they were going broke because
Hmm.
he took the makeup off. And, you know, a little tidbit about that you've seen the Metal Years, right?
Yeah, of course.
That place where Gene and Paul were was
Yeah.
rented. They couldn't even afford the place. It was
Hmm.
rented. A lot of people don't know that. They think that they were like these big billionaires, but when they took the makeup off, man, they about died.
Yep.
Nobody
They.
wanted to look it up. Nobody wanted asylum, you know?
Hmm. And
And
for me,
a
it
lot
was
of
kind
people
of
don't
cool
know
going
that.
back and seeing that stuff and just being like, what did Gene and Paul have to go through and overcome to kind of keep this band going? And that's like a really cool testament to how cool and how great Kiss is, that they kind of weathered the storm for that long, for 30 years. You know, music trends be damned. I mean, Kiss was kind of a follower in the 80s, but they made it through.
Now, 50 years later, they're going to be avatars.
Which I think is the coolest thing ever, and I think that they are way beyond what we can even comprehend as people right now. I think in 30 years, when everything is avatars and there's a whole different way of watching concerts and experiencing live music, that we'll all look back to Kiss and be like, these were the guys that started it. Somehow they knew that long ago, back in 2025, that this is what the music industry would become.
So, holograms probably the precursor to the avatars, right?
I think so. I think they're going to kind of figure out. They've already done it. Like, I think there's technology there that we aren't necessarily shown yet, that
Hmm.
has already been kind of proved in the concert world.
Yeah, with the pandemic, which you lived
Yep.
through it like I did, there was no live concerts, so bands had to figure out how to make money. So bands like Clutch would do a show every month at their practice space and charge people for it and give them vinyl for it.
Yep.
I mean, the same with movies. Movie theaters were shut down, but the movie industry figured out how to get past it. They just
Yes.
put it on different apps. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
I'm a
that
lot I'm a lot older than you. I'm 53, so I remember the times when things were different without apps and without a computer, and things like
yes.
that.
Yep.
So it's it it's telling when of someone of your age sees in a different light than somebody my age sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because me, I don't know much about AI, but you might because you're in that age of, when
Right.
AI started now. Um, so you started the band, you started going, things started going good. Uh, how did the music evolve? How did you come up with the sound that is what is your sound today?
Yeah, sure. And what a great question. It's a really cool thing that it's turned into, and we didn't necessarily set out to do this, but the music has turned into, instead of guys just writing songs and presenting them to the band, Sniper, the guitar player, and we have worked out this formula that's like that tried and true guitar player singer formula of he brings in music, I bring in words, we collaborate, and we found out that the songs that work the best and the songs that are the most popular, songs that everybody loves, are the songs that we collaborate on. And I think that that's our biggest gift that we found is working together and having a musical kind of a musical other half, and somebody that can
Mhm.
help me and I can help him where needed. And I think that's something that we started really exploring on this last record that came out in 2024. So Hard It Hurts. We did, every song was a collaboration where we worked that angle. Where on other albums we didn't have that, where one guy would write one song, another guy would write another song, and now with this, it's like we combine both of our forces together on everything, and I think it makes it so much better.
So do you look up to people like Janie Lane, who's a songwriter, or guys like that from the '80s, or where do you take your inspiration from?
Yeah, I do. I really love. I love Jamie Lane as a songwriter, as a singer, because I think that he was real. He was one of the guys that was real in the 80s, and he had that conviction where when he sang, I believed every word he said, and it kind of gives me goosebumps to this day. Thinking just like that, Jamie Lane was like one of those guys that was glam, but also like he was so punk rock that it was so cool. And that's really where our inspiration comes from, is not necessarily writing cookie cutter songs that you would expect. We write songs about what happens to us on the road, what happens to us in life, and all of those things that happen to every single other person out there. And I think that that's one of the cool things, is that the Midnight Devils aren't it's not an 80s hair metal band. We love those bands, but that's not what we are. And we really kind of push those boundaries of freedom and creativity. And then in our songs and our lyrics, It's very, very punk rock, and it's about the stuff that we see and the stuff that we feel, whether it's good or bad. We write about it. The stuff that we find
Yeah,
funny.
I was excited that they just announced that Ultraphobia is going to be released on vinyl, and
Wow.
Ultraphobia to me is the best Warren album ever made.
Hmm.
I mean, um, the song "Better Now." Oh my God, man, it's gut wrenching to listen to it. And
And
I saw the original Warrant, probably 12 times,
wow.
and you know, and I've seen Warrant probably about 15 times because I've seen him with the new guy, Robert
Robert.
Mason. Is
Yep.
that his name?
Robert Mason.
Uh, Now I have a son, and he's 26 this year. You know, the wildest thing was when I took him to see Warrant with Winger and Bullet Boys, and he looked at me and goes, "Dad, I wish I could have seen him with Jamie."
Hey, yeah.
You know, and it hurts, man, because it's like Janie was so amazing, man.
Mhm.
I seen him at his worst period in his life.
Yeah.
I saw Warrant when I was like 18 years old for the first time, and then I seen him at Rocklahoma, and that we all know what happened to Rocklahoma and this big
Right.
outbreak, and I was there for that, and now I get to go I get to turn back around because tonight I get to talk to his daughter Maddie,
Whoa,
and
that's really cool.
yeah, so I'm interviewing her at 9 o'clock tonight. And
We just ran into Stephen Sweet at M3.
oh, did you?
Yeah, so we chatted with him for a minute. Sniper chatted with him. They kind of know each other, so that was really cool. I'm just sitting there like, whoa, this is awesome. That's Stephen Sweet right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know, uh, I wish more bands were as real as what Janie was.
Mhm.
Janie had a song blow up that he didn't want to blow up. He wanted Uncle Tom's Cabin to be his swan song,
Yep.
and it's sad that he was always known for Cherry Pie. I mean, it really tortured him. It really tortured him. But to see young guys like you doing this music again, like Steel Panther and you know, Eric Jake from the Wild Street, and all the bands from Sweden and all the bands, still going. Do you like a lot of those bands? Do you like a lot of the Swedish bands and the Finland bands and stuff like that?
Yes, absolutely. And it's those bands that have kind of, for me, has been a really cool thing because they've bridged the gap on what was lacking in maybe in American glam rock. They kind of took over the reins of like so it's the bands like Hardcore Superstar, love it, Crash Diet, love it.
Love it.
Uh, what
Love
is
it.
it? Suicide Bombers. Those are our friends, our brothers. All those bands, the Backstreet Girls. Man, I'm telling you, Confess. Who was the other one? Toxic Rose. Like those really cool bands, uh, really bridged the gap and put this type of music in a spot it needed to be, but they weren't American. And so it's kind of weird and it didn't translate to an American audience just quite yet, right? It does and it picks
Mhm.
up, but it's never hit like it did over there here in the States. And I don't understand why that is. And it's probably because they don't speak English. And I really think that's one of the things. So when we travel and we go overseas, like we played with Crash Diet at a festival in Norway, and it was so cool, so much fun, man. I was like, whoa, I actually got to meet some like of my heroes, even though it was like Crash Diet from the Dave Leppard years. It was still the guys, and they were still playing the songs. But there's something about American rock and roll and American metal that hits on a different level. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I'll say it till like we can come out there and play with like these great bands, but because we're an American rock band, it's where this music started and it just hits harder.
I have to say, Crash Diet, Rest in Sleaze
Mm-hmm.
is probably, in my opinion, in the top four greatest glam albums of all time.
I agree completely.
They are that album. Dave Leppard. If Dave Leppard, the problem is when you have these artists that die,
Hmm.
I'm not going to say, whatever, but they die like he did. They don't understand that these fans absolutely love him. And he's gone down in history with that album as being one of the greatest glam albums ever put on the face of the earth.
You're
You
100% right.
know, it's kind of like Hanoi Rocks. Bangkok Shocks, Hanoi Rocks. That album,
Hmm.
it's another great glam album that you know, without Michael Monroe doing that, I don't think there would have been a lot of glam. Some of the glam we have,
No,
or we've seen.
he's the godfather. Between him, Alice Cooper, and Michael Monroe, they showed us everything we needed to know. They wrote the blueprint on how to be a great frontman and how to be cool and how to play rock and roll like your life depended on it.
New York Dolls, don't forget them either.
Yeah, New York Dolls, like those guys. That's where that gets to be that realness and that kind of urgency to it.
Hmm.
There's like we got to do it, and we got to do it now, and we got to do it hard, and we got to do it fast, and we got to have a lot of fun doing it right now. That's what that
I,
urgency is.
I grew up in the '80s, so I
Yeah,
remember standing in line to get the Slaughtered cassettes and the Motley Crue cassettes and all that. I think the reason glam was so snuffed out was everybody sounded the same. Everybody looked the
yeah,
same.
and that.
And I think country music's headed that way. I
Yep.
think like when I listen to Sirius Radio with my wife in the car, I don't know who's Morgan Wallen and who isn't
Yeah.
because they all sound the same. They all
Yeah.
sound the
Yep.
same.
Yep.
Everybody sounds the same,
It's
and
that
yeah,
sad boy country rap.
yeah,
I'm not interested.
yeah. And then if you talk about like the end of the '80s when '90s come, when Nirvana came out, things might have been different if Mother Love Bone would have been able to have that album come out and Andrew not die.
Hmm.
I think there could have been some more years of glam.
They were a good
Because,
crossover,
they were a great crossover. Andrew was glammy, but the band wasn't.
right?
That's a precursor to Pearl Jam because,
Yep.
two guys went to Pearl Jam. But, when Andrew died, I think the music died too because he was the one that would have been able to make it cross over. And such good bands came out in that threshold, like Pariah, like Tough.
Yep.
Some of those bands released albums. Spread Eagle, they released these albums like in '89 and '91, and they were just shelved pretty much.
Yep.
They were the era was done, and then we I think it was around give or take like 9 years. Then we started seeing the Swedish glam and we saw
Yep.
the Finley guy and all the bands that came from there. And I had this conversation with my best friend the other day. I said, it's wild because glam's coming back. I mean, because you got like Eric Jake with
Yeah.
Wild Street. Wild Street's as sleazy and glammy as they come.
Yep. And
And
they were
y'all
around. They were around before we were. 10 years before we were.
and you all are still playing shows like
Mhm.
M3.
And we're friends and we hang out and Eric's like I feel like Eric and I have a lot of unfinished business together. And I grew up kind of liking really really liking Wild Street and Eric's band. Not grew up, but in that they were on my radar and I was listening to the songs and
Mm-hmm.
watching the videos. And so now to know that Eric and I are friends and we can talk and we hang out and we text each other, and I think that Eric and I are gonna kind of be these guys that kind of wave this flag for the rest of our lives, and this is like what we do. Like we love this music. We came up in the time where there was nothing and we had to create something, and we had to create this American glam rock movement that's not a bunch of 80s cosplay kids, but it's real rock and roll, it's real punk, it's real glam. It's not make believe influencer TikTok stuff. That's not what it is. It's guys in a van traveling down the road, playing guitar, having fun.
And and that's the spirit of glam, like you
Mhm.
said.
Yeah.
Like lots of people don't understand that's what Motley Crue's influences were. That's what
Hmm.
Rat's influences were. Poison. I mean, hell, look, CC went and had a punk band after
Yep.
he quit Poison. You know, not a
Samantha
lot of
Seven,
people.
is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was great.
yeah.
Love that song. Love that song.
Or Needle Park. He had Needle Park too, which I don't think they really released anything, maybe a demo or something, but that was punk too. But
Yep.
Samantha Seven, man, that's like the precursor to Marvelous Three,
Yep.
Butch Walker's band. You know, it it's wild when you think about that in a whole sense. Have you been to Japan yet?
Yeah, we went last year. We made our debut. We did 8 shows over 10 days in Japan, and we did it following. So it's a really cool kind of story and timeline. Is that the third album, So Hard It Hurts, came out on July 5th. We did a month through Australia, and then jumped over to Japan from Australia and did 10 more days over there. So we were out on the road for 5 or 6 weeks straight.
How was the Japanese audience?
It was awesome. It completely worked way better than I thought it would, because I was very nervous going in thinking, "Oh, this is a brand new country that doesn't speak English. They don't understand, like, they can't relate to us." But we showed up, and the music, the fashion, the feeling translated any cultural boundaries or linguistic boundaries that we were worried about. So we got up there. How you doing, Japan? We are the Midnight Devils. They got it completely. And by the end of the show, everybody's clapping, shaking ass, throwing balloons around, having a blast. Like, it broke it down. The shows were great. We got invited back. It was one of our goals and dreams since we were children to play Japan. Live at Budokan, all these great albums that came from Japan.
Oh
That was our goal. We did it last year, and I'm super proud to say that.
yeah, Doc and Beast from the East.
Yeah, yeah. Deep
Oh,
Purple, you know.
but did you know that two of the biggest bands in Japan are Mr. Big and Firehouse?
Yep, yeah. I did know that.
They go over there and they sell out friggin' huge arenas.
Yep, I
You
knew that.
know?
Because Firehouse kind of weathered the 90s by just going to Asia.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know and they did great over there in Asia and India and all that. And that's what that same with Mr. Big. Like, that was kind of their, what a great idea. Let's go over, it's our music's not hot in America, let's go over where it is hot.
yeah. And I mean, that's why Japan and places like that got all those great albums. America didn't.
And
Before there was like the import scene. You had to import an album from Japan. It cost you $50. You
yep.
know, now it's not like that. I mean, it's a lot cheaper. So, do you have a new album coming out? Are you in the process of writing one? What's the story?
Right now we're still in the tour. We're still touring for So Hard It Hurts. So we had the first single came out back in July. It's called Get Laid. That was first single. First video came out. We shot the video at the strip club here in Nebraska that we work at, and it was so cool. What a great song! What a great lead off! And I believe that we just set the timetable right now. That and this is an exclusive for you, Mike.
Mhm.
Exclusive for you. I don't even have the date on me right now. I wish I did. But the next single will be dropping on, I want to say, right after the next tour starts. So it's like June 23rd. The next single will start a vinyl pre-sale that we're going to release, like a 7-inch pink and green splattered vinyl single. The pre-sale begins right before the tour starts. The tour starts on the 20th, and then that following Tuesday, Shock the World, our brand new single, will drop on YouTube.
And where are you touring at?
This will be our fourth leg of the USA tour. So we're kind of heading east again. We start in West Virginia, Norton, West Virginia, at the Rim. That's where we start, and then we go to Baltimore and New York, and we'll be kind of all around the eastern seaboard. I think Cincinnati's in there, and then Charlotte, North Carolina, and then we cruise up through Nebraska, Indiana, Iowa, and ended in
Who
Nebraska.
who are you all playing with?
We're just playing with a ton of bands. Like, this will be another headlining tour, so every show is kind of different. But it's our fourth one. We've been out since January, essentially. This tour started back January, mid-January, and we've gone all the way up through now July. And if you look back at it, at the end of July, when we finish this upcoming tour, it'll be 1 year since we released the album and done the entire. I want to say we've done almost the entire world together.
Where are you playing in Cincinnati? Do you know?
MVP.
MVP. Okay.
Yeah, MVP Sports Bar. That will be on the 27th, June 27th, I want to say, or 26th, whatever the Friday is.
I'll let you know if I can make it
That'd be
because
awesome.
I
That'd be
usually go. We usually go up to the
blue.
Blue Note.
Yeah.
That's where I just went and seen Texas Hippie Coalition,
Oh, very cool.
and they had Alex Lifeson. What's his real name? He plays with Donnie now.
Oh,
He's just
Alex
gets
Kane.
over. Huh?
Alex Kane.
Alex Kane.
Yeah.
His band played with Texas Hippie,
Is it Pump
and
Five?
yeah, we didn't know that Alex was in the band, but
Yeah.
we did know because somebody told us, but we didn't know because we didn't remember. And walk in, and Alex Kane CDs are sitting there. And we're like, "Holy shit, Alex Kane's here!"
He is the
And
coolest. And like a big shout out to him. I love that guy. We toured
yeah,
with him
he's
last
really
year.
nice too.
He was with Handsome Dick Manitoba, and he's like our rock and roll grandpa, like our punk rock grandpa. I love Alex Kane. He's so cool.
He's a great dude, man. When we met him, me and my buddy Andy just started a show too, and that show was the first one was taped for that adventure, and then Sunday we go to Nashville to the Cobra, and we're going to go see my buddy playing Pentagram,
Oh yeah,
Bobby Liebling. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
me and him have become really good friends, so we're going to go see
Really?
him play with Pentagram. And actually, Pentagram's song "Lightning in a Bottle" is the intro and outro for my show that's on Fire Rock.
There you
So,
go.
and then for this show that I'm doing with you right now, the stripper song from the Wild Street is the intro and outro.
Got Easy does it.
Yeah, Easy Does It, man. It's did you see the video? Did you
Yeah,
see
of
me
course.
interviewing him? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it, man. It's such a pleasure when people look at you as their peer, the
yeah.
person that they're with them, and they go, "Oh yeah, you can use that. Oh yeah, you can do that."
Cool.
So it's awesome. So maybe next season, after these 12 episodes, maybe I'll use one of your songs.
Gonna get laid tonight. It's perfect. It writes itself.
There you go, man. So, where can people reach out to you? And you said you're going to have vinyl. Is this the first vinyl or no?
This will be the second vinyl. This will be the first vinyl 7-inch. So the Midnight Devils have never put out a 7-inch before, and that was kind of a thing. Like as a fan, as a record collector, why would we not put out a 7-inch? They're so cool. People love them. I love them. Everybody loves them. So this will be the second. We have a 12-inch vinyl single that is an etched single, but that was released back a few years ago, and we did 300 copies of that, and I'm down to like 10 or 15 copies. That's all I have worldwide. 10 or 15 copies of it's the Working for the Weekend Highway 69 single, but the one coming up now will be released. I want to say in August, but it'll be Get Laid with Shock the World. That's the brand new single, and it'll be a 7-inch pink and green kind of splatter vinyl single. We'll do that. We'll also release our brand new record on cassette tape. So we got some new artwork, and that's kind of the thing that we really try to push is that all of this comes with brand new artwork and all new images. And we really, at being a Kiss fan, being a Misfits fan, being all these bands with great images, I wanted to kind of make this a part of the creative side of great artwork and cool stuff that people get and they go, this is amazing. This is coming from the Midnight Devils. This is exactly what we thought from a great glam rock band. And so that's really what we're doing. We're talking about doing a live, there's going to be a live record in the works. And I think it's going to even be a live from Japan record. So there's like so much stuff happening. And once this tour ends, we're just full on creative for a while and getting out all this great material, the albums, the cassettes, everything else.
Are you?
And it's all available at themidnightdevils.com. Sorry, to get back on your question. That's where you find us, themidnightdevils.com, or we're all over social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything like that.
Now, are you with a label, or are you doing everything independently?
We are currently with MR Records out of Australia. So we're with an Australian record label, and it's this great partnership of dudes that they're in it for the same reasons that we are, and that's really what we wanted to. We wanted to sign with a label. We didn't have to sign with the label. That's our whole thing. Is like we will fiercely do this independently rather than get screwed over by somebody that wants to take our money. You know, like we're
Yeah.
those guys that like rather than sign with you, I will tell you to go jump off a cliff, and I will do this the hard way. With MR Records, they kind of got that, and they got that like we're all in this together to create something, to create a better future and a better way of doing this. Even if it's just this record label, MR Records, and the Midnight Devils, we're going to work together to make something cool. So they've really been there. They're Kiss fans. They get it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And I guess there's not much else to talk about, is there? Unless we talk about.
We'll be out on tour in the what 3 or 4 weeks. We'll be on the East Coast again. One more tour for the USA, and that'll be the fourth leg. It's the Get Laid in the USA Summer Tour 2025. We got one more to go, and that'll run us all the way to the 4th of July. And then it's party time, party hardy all summer long.